Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Bhargav HK, Bytes Bengaluru. I would like to welcome today's expert and all the participants to Bytes Expert Series. Today's topic is Salesforce as PaaS, Platform as a Service. I would like to introduce today's expert, Rahul Gade. Rahul Gade is the Chief Architect in Salesforce practice with Persistent System Limited. He has been working in the Salesforce practice for 13 years and is leading the team of Salesforce architects and driving COE initiative to provide customer success through consulting and automation. Sir has built multiple productivity booster tools for Salesforce practice to fast track the delivery process and running architect monitoring program within practice. He has done masters in computer science from Nagpur University. Apart from being passionate about technology, he enjoys home automation, electrician work, and mechanic work at home. He has spends time on his interests like movies, reading mythology books, and shows. Sir, Rahul Gade sir, once again I welcome to Bytes Expert Series. So I request Rahul Gade sir to continue the session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, friends. So let me first of all share my screen and
Visible, sir. You go ahead.
okay, perfect. Good afternoon, everyone. And thanks for my introduction. So yeah, out of my 23 years of experience, 13 years into Salesforce practice. And in fact, you can say when I joined Salesforce, Salesforce practice at Persistent, Salesforce was even getting matured, but it was still considered as one of the most innovative platform. At that time, if anyone asked, what is Salesforce? Probably people used to say, I don't know, or probably someone would say it is just a CRM. But today, Salesforce is a big brand, very well-known platform as a service. Okay. So we are going to have a look at some of the aspect of Salesforce as a platform. But I can tell you one thing for sure. Salesforce is such a huge area to explore. One cannot learn overnight, not even within month. Even after years of experience, there are a lot of areas within Salesforce that can be explored. I'm going to walk you through from the domain perspective also, where Salesforce play the role and how it help actual execution of business processes. Okay. So with that, let me start with one simple question. And don't worry, I'm not going to ask this question to you, but I know I can guess the answer. So if you are going to start your own company, having total VC funding of 5 crore, how would you like to spend on different areas? Option 1, hardware, software, maintenance, internet, business asset, and marketing. Or option 2, where you will go with cloud setup, everything maintained by somebody else, and you will spend on internet, business asset, and marketing only. And I'm pretty sure nowadays the answer would be option 2, because no one would like to have their own asset and spend their initial money on something which they could have spent on actual their business process and increase their initial earning. Okay. And that is where the cloud plays a very important role, right? Now, in case of cloud, when we start talking about cloud, the second question, what would you prefer? I mean, I understand everyone knows about what is cloud. It is not your own infrastructure. It is somewhere hosted within somebody's server and you are renting the services, right? And most common clouds that people are aware of are like AWS, Azure, Google, and so on, right? So the question is, what would you prefer with limited budget? Build a new house at your non-native place, where you will have to pay upfront initial cost, maintenance cost, dedicated services, purchase everything that you need? Or will you prefer to rent an apartment? Low initial but continuous investment, fully furnished and ready to use, shared services like swimming pool, garden, playground, power backup, etc. I know probably someone might say the option 1 as well, but from the economy perspective, nowadays everyone would prefer a rent an apartment option, right? And the same concept, same philosophy is applicable when we start talking about cloud. On top of cloud, will you prefer to have your own operating system and then you develop your own software, own platform, and build the tools that you need, or build the application that you need and host them, do the maintenance of those applications, right? Because there are a lot of things, a lot of overhead that you have to carry, like applying the patches, maintenance, security upgrades. So for example, tomorrow there are security certificate like TLS 1.1 is no more valid and TLS 1.2 has to be applied, right? So for such challenges, it is always preferred that somebody else's environment, if somebody else is providing the platform and taking care of platform, it makes more sense. Now, just to give you an example, when I say rent an apartment, this concept on the technology term is called as multi-tenant platform. And in simple word, just to give you an idea about what is multi-tenant platform. I'm sure all of you are using Gmail, right? When you are using Gmail, you are using a lot of Google services, whether it is Google Photos, whether you are using Google Drive, whether you are using Google Spreadsheet, or even the emails and email attachment that you are storing, you are actually sharing the services, okay? But at the same time, the emails and storage of user A and user B, make sure that there is a China wall between it. No one can see each other's data. And that is creation of tenancy, okay? So both are, user A and user B, both are tenants within the same environment. So same way, in an apartment, you have different walls, which make sure you have your own privacy. You get access to your apartment only, right? Similar way, you get access to your Gmail account only. You won't be able to access anybody else's Gmail account. On the similar concept, Salesforce work. So Salesforce work based on the multi-tenancy method, okay? Where they have built a platform, and that platform is available for the development as well as configuration. So when I say configuration, there are a lot of out-of-the-box services available. Now, if I ask you to build an application for, let's say, student attendance management, okay? The first thing that you will start thinking about, okay, we will need to have a user management module. You will need to start with the login screen, create user screen, and then managing the permissions of those users, right? With Salesforce in place, this part is already been taken care of, right? Because login, user management, everything is there in place. Now, whenever you start creating business processes, you will start writing database procedures, queries, and then your code. Here within Salesforce, you have workflow rules, you have process builder, you have Salesforce flow, using which you can define your processes. So click, not the code. So you can develop your solution in a declarative way without even coding. But at the same time, is it possible to do everything with the clicks? Not really. There are certain situations when business complications arise and you will have to start writing the code. And that is where Salesforce comes with a programming language called Apex. Okay. Before I get detailed into the Salesforce ecosystem, okay, here is a pictorial view that explain how different layer work. So you have infrastructure as a service. I gave you example of Azure, AWS, right? Who provide you the infrastructure. You can have a kind of virtual machine where you might have Windows or Linux box. You can scale, you can have web server, you can have database services and shared services on the as an infrastructure. But whatever solution that you will build will be of your own. Whereas when you move to the PaaS, platform as a service, you receive a platform with built-in capabilities and you configure the platform according to your need, or in fact, even you can enhance the platform using the platform capabilities. We will get into the capabilities detail, but with multi-tenancy and shared services, it is affordable to every customer, as well as the maintenance is seamless. That result into the cost saving for any business. And then the third layer comes into picture, that is called as SaaS. That is software as a service when you purchase a specific software. Now, in case of Salesforce also, there is SaaS possibility as available whenever we start thinking about app exchange. So Salesforce has a marketplace, somewhat similar to your Android Play Store, right? Or iPhone App Store, right? In fact, the concept of App Store and Play Store was initially brought into industry by Salesforce only, okay? And using this concept, you can have applications developed by one vendor that can be installed on Salesforce platform with single click. When I say developed by another vendor develop it using Salesforce capability only. So we call it as a package. So there are different Salesforce package ready to use softwares that are available, which can be installed on the Salesforce platform and you can start using them. Now, with Salesforce, the firewall, authentication, authorization services, SSL communication, or even the monitoring like performance, capacity monitoring, and the utility service, and all the setup, this overhead. Otherwise, you would have your IT team managing them. Even if you go with AWS or Azure, which is infrastructure as a service, your IT team will have to do the management. But in case of Salesforce, as a platform as a service, you even don't need to care about all of these things. These are all built-in capabilities. Because there is a software layer on top of it. I mean, the platform layer on top of your infrastructure. Okay, so let me take a pause here. Any comment on the pace with which I'm moving, or anyone would like to add a question here? Okay, so I will move forward. So this is a quick landscape display. I'm using the image provided by Salesforce Ben, okay, which is who provide excellent blogs around Salesforce, what's new happening in the Salesforce ecosystem. So you can see there is a core platform, and that platform is called as Force.com platform. Force.com platform actually comes up with the programming language called Apex, and you can develop the UI component. Those components are called as LWC. LWC stands for Lightning Web Component. Other than that, the built-in features and built-in platform features include Sales Cloud and Service Cloud as a core cloud offering from the Salesforce. We will talk about Sales Cloud and Service Cloud in detail at later stage. On top of Sales Cloud, there is a CPQ and billing module, the velocity modules, as well as field services and digital engagement. Digital engagement is something around the marketing, right? Then there are some industry specific data models and built-in features that Salesforce provide. Even there is an experience cloud. So let's say today, if you have taken any loan and if you want to check your loan amount, what is remaining and loan status, or want to apply for a loan, probably in India today, you are hitting a Salesforce Experience Cloud, because most of the NBFCs, the non-banking finance companies, are implementing their customer communities on Salesforce only. CRM analytics, a lot of you might have heard the name Tableau. With the acquisition of Tableau, Now it is called as CRM analytics. So Tableau is part of Salesforce ecosystem, and it is termed as CRM analytics or TCRM or Einstein analytics. Okay. And then comes Einstein, which is a layer of AI ML on top of Salesforce. In fact, recently, just a couple of months back, Salesforce has announced collaboration with Salesforce and GPT. And they have announced Einstein GPT for a lot of AI ML possibilities. Then we have additional platform features. So we have a separate platform called Heroku. There are Flows, MuleSoft, which is considered as an enterprise service bus, ESB, which act as a middleware when you are building an enterprise solution. So let's say if your solution is having hundreds of integration, you won't be writing integration related code into the actual platform. Instead, you will put it into the middleware so that your platform will communicate with middleware only, and middleware will take care of whom to communicate, right? Then there are Pardot, Tableau, Commerce Cloud, Marketing Cloud, and Slack. These are additional offerings from the Salesforce ecosystem. So they do not follow the core platform of Force.com, but since they are mostly from the acquisitions, they tightly collaborate with the core platform and enable your customers to actually implement their business needs. Okay, so just to give a glimpse of physical view, just imagine that there is an array of web servers, array of application servers. I mean, we usually call this as a farm as well. Salesforce call it as a pod. Okay, so here you can see AP1, AP2, NA1, NA2. These are examples. So when you look at Salesforce instance, I mean, whenever you subscribe to Salesforce, you may be assigned your instance for your organization on one of the pod. So let's say if I subscribe and I receive the instance on AP1, AP1 stand for APAC. Okay, I mean, that is Asia Pacific region. NA stand for North America. So there are different data centers in the different region that Salesforce has got. You will never know which pod you are getting allocated into, but you will always start with login.salesforce.com in order to log into Salesforce. If anyone want to try out on Salesforce platform, there is a developer edition of Salesforce available, which you can subscribe with a limited license at free of cost. No license is required in order to learn Salesforce. You can create your own account on, you can create your own developer account on Salesforce and start using it. Okay. So this is how internally user will always connect with login.salesforce.com, but based on instance allocated, he will be redirected to appropriate pod, and that pod will have appropriate application server as well as shared databases. So database clustering, application server optimization, everything is taken care by Salesforce only. The way Salesforce database work is, it is completely metadata driven. And that is the reason why we do not call database table as a table. We call them as object. So Salesforce has objects. So there are standard objects and there are custom objects. And using those objects, you can quickly create ready to use views, ready to use pages for the CRUD operation. CRUD stands for create, read, update, delete, right? So you can perform this CRUD operation without even writing a single line of code. But if you want to override and need to have a fancy user interface, you can override the standard Salesforce UI with your custom LWC component. Now, when I say custom LWC component, again, it is based on ECMAScript 7. There is a concept of web component, right? With ECMAScript 7 and HTML5, you can have whatever the way UI you want to build. And then that UI can be plugged into the Salesforce ecosystem to have the fancy user interface. So there are common services like full text search, Einstein services, event services, and monitoring services. All Everything comes in a single bundle for your customers or for your users. Okay. Now moving to the logical view here. As a part of logical view, you can see we talked about the nodes at the bottom, right? So you have secure array of storage with local and remote backup, and then you have objects, files and document, and metadata. So in order to query for the data onto the object, there is a different SQL language. It is not called as SQL, it is called as SOQL. Okay, Salesforce Object Query Language. The reason there is a different query language because there are a lot of limitations enforced, and those limitations are for the betterment purpose. There are governor limits because you are working as a tenant. So whenever you are working in an apartment, you know, you will have to worry about society, right? The people around you. You cannot behave as you want. So there are certain regulations that are enforced. So for example, one of the best practices says, whenever you are writing a select query, you should include only those fields which you really need. You should never write select star, right? Now what SOQL does, SOQL do not allow select star. It enforces you to include the list of fields. So this was just an example. There are many such governor rules that has to be followed. There are many coding best practices that Salesforce want to ensure so that the performance of your application, performance of this platform is never compromised. Then the two mechanisms that I was talking about, declarative and the programmatic mechanism. So one application can be developed 100% in a declarative way, whereas in certain cases, either because of the user experience requirement or because of certain complex business need, you might need to start writing a code using Apex, right? You can write a trigger, or you can also write a asynchronous batches, which can work in a background in a scheduled mode as well. Then from UI to backend, there are MVC layers, right? That is model view controller. So there are standard and custom controllers. So standard controllers are out of the box provided by Salesforce, and you can write your own custom controllers using Apex. Whereas whenever you create an object in Salesforce, everything is API first, which means if you are designing any application on Salesforce, APIs are available by default. Okay, you don't need to write custom API. In fact, you can write custom API if you want, but you will never need them because both SOAP and REST APIs are available for every object that you create in Salesforce or every standard service that is available in Salesforce. Okay, and that is how this is also considered as a rapid application development platform. So anyone who is interested in exploring more on Salesforce, they can actually visit developer.force.com and register for the trial version, and they can look at the learning modules on trailheads.salesforce.com. Okay, so there are a lot of learning modules. Self-learning mechanism is available. Even online tests are available so that someone can read through, perform step-by-step action, and start learning Salesforce. Okay. Now, let's move into the second part of this, that is understanding the CRM concept. Now, again, I'm leading to my very first slide, starting a new business. What actually you need from the domain perspective if you are starting a business? One good idea, that is good enough. So that idea could be a product or it could be a service which can be provided in an on-demand mode. So either, you sell a product, service as a product, or you sell actually a product which is tangible, right? Salesforce treat both of them as a product. So whether it is a 30 days, your 30-day plan for your SIM card, which is a service, right? or whether it is your Tata Sky recharge plan, or whether it is a Airtel 30-day plan, or whether it is the product that Amazon is sending at your address, right? I mean, I'm just giving you the e-commerce example as well, but yes, these are the products. What you will do with the product? You will first of all start marketing them. So you will have to decide what are the channels through which I want to do the marketing. What are the possible channels? Probably one of them is email. You will do the email campaigning. You will start posting your product on social medias. You will start sending the SMS. So for that purpose, you will have to acquire certain contact database that you can load and you can target the audience. And that is where you will start capturing the leads. And once leads are interested into your product, those get converted into opportunity, right? That is what the CRM world talk about. After marketing, you will start performing the sales operation. So lead go through multiple opportunity stages. You will give the quotation, someone will negotiate, and finally he will place the order for your product. Once order is placed, you will try to deliver that product, right? But at the same time, during sales operation, you will have to collaborate. So today, no business can be done effectively without collaboration. You will need different partners, right? So let me give you an example. If you pick up any bank in India who is offering loan to their customers, they perform an address verification operation. Do you think bank employees are visiting your home for address verification? No. All of them are third-party agencies, right? So those agencies are partner. Whether you are taking home loan, if your documentation legal aspect has to be verified, there will be a legal company, the law firm, right, who will be the partner and who will verify and confirm that, okay, these documents are correct, right? And that is where the collaboration comes into picture. And that's where Salesforce also offer the concept of partner community. So for customers, there is a customer community, and for partners, there is a partner community through which you can give a limited access to your database as per their need. Okay. The next stage that you will come at when we start talking about post-sale. Okay. So you have sold the product. Now you need to provide the service. It is your responsibility, right? And again, what could be the probable service channels? Maybe the portal. So let's say if you are struggling with your network connectivity on your phone, what you will do? You will either contact your contact center, or maybe you will log in into portal and create a case or create a ticket. Or if somebody is very annoyed, probably he will go to social media and go to the official page of your telecom vendor and post the complaint over there, right? And nowadays, in fact, a lot of people have started supporting WhatsApp-based services as well. So if you have a complaint, you can log it through the WhatsApp as well. Now, for all these channels, what Salesforce offers is a service cloud. So all these offerings are built in. You just need to pick your service, configure it, and you are ready to go. So earlier, starting any new business means you need to get these tools developed or procure all these softwares one by one separately, integrate them, which means your go live period was somewhere around like a year or year and a half. And till that time, you will have to do the investment, right? Here with the Salesforce in place, probably within couple of months, you will be able to go live for your business. Then you have analytics, forecasting your business, probabilities, how many leads can be closed, how many opportunities you can win. And accordingly, you can prepare your budget and increment to your employees and all that. Okay, if it is your business, right? And then integrating with multiple systems, as I mentioned, as I was talking about multiple tools talking to each other. Now, All of this at one single place available on Salesforce. And that is where Salesforce initially started as a CRM, but with more and more feature enhancement and the platform capability addition, it is a full-fledged platform itself where any kind of system can be developed. It's not only limited to the CRM. For that purpose, I would like to give you another example. Let's think about a medical tourism. In fact, this is one of the case study. In fact, the implementation that I have done for one of the organization, one of the healthcare organization in United States. Okay, that is for medical tourism. So medical tourism is a process where your customers or your patients, I mean, patients are your customers. So patients actually apply for their treatment, and the institutions, the healthcare institutions within United States will actually provide their quotation that with these many services are required based on your current health situation. And for this treatment, this is the quotation. Now, this quotation include starting from your visa fees, your travel to United States, then your hotel stay, starting from wheelchair to your X-ray and blood test, everything. The quotation include the cost, and that's the concept which allow patient to be the carefree, and doctor will take care of everything that you need until you reach back to your country. And this kind of medical tourism we have implemented on Salesforce. So now you can imagine Salesforce can be in the healthcare, Salesforce can be in the banking segment, Salesforce can be in the manufacturing segment, even in the insurance segment, right? Now, how typically CRM works? Okay, now I'm taking you back to the basics of CRM. So as we initially talked about, it starts with product. You have certain roles to play. I mean, in your organization, you will have different people who will play different roles. You will see different territories these people will be assigned with. So for example, if you have 50 salespeople, there will be 50 regions within India that will be divided, and you will assign each salesperson a particular zone to handle, right? Then you will define your fiscal period, target given to the salespeople, and the forecasting, right? So these are all available out of the box. You can execute the campaign within Salesforce. After campaign, based on campaign, you will generate the lead. Now, based on lead, you can have follow-up tasks, you can organize certain events, you can call to your customers, or you can send them an email in order to engage them. And this process is called as lead nurturing. After lead nurturing, let's say if it get converted into an opportunity, at the same time, you will create account and contact for your customer. From an opportunity, you can create a quotation and then get the order from customer. Once you receive the order and payment is done, the product becomes the asset of the customer. So all the blocks that you see here on my screen are actually the standard objects within Salesforce. A lot of custom objects can be created in order to enhance this solution and achieve your business need based on your requirement. The only missing piece here that I can highlight you here is the payment part. So order payment is something, there are specialized tools. Salesforce don't want to replace this tool, at least as of today. So they expect that your payment system will be separate, but that system will be integrated with the Salesforce. So Salesforce is a great, Salesforce Pro has great abilities to perform the integrations with the external system, either using REST API or SOAP API. Now, we are jumping into the second arena, that is Service Cloud. And without a great service, you cannot be a great organization, right? If your service is bad, you know, there are so many laptop companies available, but whenever you try to buy a laptop, you first ask for whose service is better, right? And that's how create the brand value of the organization. And if some customer is into the problem, who he is supposed to connect with, So your for your every customer, you have an account and contact record, and you also have the asset record. So whenever customer has any concerns, the only thing that you will start doing is a support case, right? And for that case, you will provide a case ID to the customer so that he can revert back later and you can track those cases. But anyway, you don't really need those case ID, because against your particular account, you will always have the complete conversation detail against a support case. So case do not come alone. It also comes with the SLA entitlement. So for example, if you have raised a complaint, within how much duration that complaint must be resolved, right? There are certain commitments that are usually given. And those commitments are SLA. Escalation rules. So let's say from L1 support, the case has to be escalated to L2 if it doesn't get resolved within certain time frame, right? Then what is your response time? And even the knowledge management. Knowledge management is another important aspect where, let's say there is a product. Let's take an example of your microwave. If somebody is struggling with the microwave oven and he tried to call back to the company, the contact center agent need to quickly respond. And if whatever the symptom or problem that customer is telling, they need to help them immediately on the fly. And that is where searching within knowledge base for the right article based on the right symptom is very much required. And that is where the knowledge management and the knowledge service actually comes very handy along with the flow. So you can have predefined call script, how the agent should communicate, how the agent should talk to the customer, and which knowledge article can help them, what are the steps that customer should follow in order to resolve his issue. And if it cannot be resolved, then finally the agent may ask you to reach out to the nearest service station, right? And these are the usual standard protocol everywhere. So just to give you overview of different channels, what are the possibilities of different channels in the service ecosystem. Whenever you need service, WhatsApp, text message, Twitter, Facebook, web portal, telephone call, email, web chat. These are the channels for a customer whenever he is into problem or he needs a support from any business organization around his product. Whether it is a loan application, whether it is a healthcare service, or whether it is a product like microwave oven, everywhere these channels can be made available, and hardly anywhere you will need to write a code. Okay, it is mostly with the click, and with code, lot more things are possible. Even in fact, those are beyond imagination. Right. On other side, on agent side, you can see communities. They can respond. I mean, the partner communities, they can collaborate with the partner. Knowledge articles, we just talked about Einstein bot. So you can have a chat bot who can be self-responsive and give you the answers based on the knowledge articles and case history that stays within the Salesforce database, right? CTI integration, one of the interesting topic for me. I mean, that's I have been working on this topic since very long time as well. So let's imagine whenever you call your telecom vendor using your registered mobile number, what they say, the first thing that they react is, "Hello, Mr. John, how can I help you?" Right? Now, how do you know that the other person knows about your name? Caller ID, I mean, that's a simple option. But yes, using caller ID, the telephony system is integrated with your browser-based Salesforce ecosystem. There is a CTI adapter, and that CTI adapter comes from different vendors as well. Okay, there is an open CTI technology that Salesforce has initiated, and based on which different vendor, whether it is a Cisco phone, Avaya phone, or any other telephony vendor, there are different APIs and different ways of integrating that system with your browser-based CRM, so that there will be a within browser, a inbound call pop-up appear. It will automatically search for the customer record. It will show the customer 360-degree view and help you immediately navigate and touch the problem that you are facing. So that's where the customer 360 view also plays important role. WhatsApp integration, skill-based routing. So now, whenever you try to call anyone over the phone, I mean, not anyone, any contact center, you will get IVR messages. Press 1 for English, press 2 for Hindi, right? Or press 1 for prepaid connection, press 2 for postpaid connection. What are these? These are nothing but the skills. Some of the skills are implicit skill and some are explicit. So whenever you are giving the explicit 1, 2, 3 option, these are explicit skills. And some implicit skills are already in their database. So for example, what is your preferred language? So if your preferred language is English and you bypass the IVR, by default, they will divert your call to the contact center agent who knows English. This is called as skill-based routing of your call. Or even this is not only limited to the calls, this is also applicable to your emails. So let's say if you are sending an email to healthcare provider, okay, your problem statement is related to, let's say, child, okay, or maybe the psychiatrist related problem. It will, I mean, based on that skill, the case will get routed to an appropriate expert, appropriate doctor, or also called as HCP. Right? So social integration we talked about, and the survey is something taking the feedback back. So for any business, these are the important ingredients. Okay, hope you are able to follow me on this. So there are many more areas that we can, I mean, that can be covered in this. Like Marketing Cloud is another acquisition that Salesforce did. I mean, Exact Target was the acquisition, and they launched it as a Marketing Cloud, which also include Pardot, that is for B2B and B2C targets. Okay. So when I talk about B2B, let's say if your target customers are organizations, which means it's not a single individual. There may be multiple stakeholders having different roles with whom you will be interacting for your sale of the order. So let's imagine Persistent as an organization want to procure few laptops from a XYZ vendor. Now for that XYZ vendor, Persistent is a business entity, and they will talk to someone who will represent Persistent, or on behalf of Persistent, who will do the negotiation, right? So Persistent will become account, but that individual will be the contact. MuleSoft, it's a cloud-based integration platform. Earlier it was into open source as well, but with acquisition, now it has reached to the level that it is in the #1 competition. Okay, so MuleSoft can be probably called as the #1 ATL tool, or #1 ESB, Enterprise Service Bus. There are few more competitions also, but MuleSoft is the leader in its area. Heroku is another platform where you can, it's a polyglot platform where you can do the development using different languages like Java, Python, ROR, that is Ruby on Rails, right? And a lot more. Salesforce mobile app. So nowadays, it comes very handy to manage the things through mobile. So in order to log into the Salesforce and access all your features, you really don't need to go through the browser always. There is a out-of-the-box mobile app available. You just search for Salesforce mobile app on Play Store. You will be able to download this app. And if you log into your org instance, even if you create a developer instance, you will be able to log in. And if you log into that instance, you will be able to see and access the data that you have stored, and you will be able to perform almost every operation that you can do through your web browser, because the lightning user experience that Salesforce claim is a completely responsive. Responsive means based on the device, it adjusts its user interface. Then it comes Quip, that's a cloud-based document collaboration tool. Some of you might have seen the OneNote. It is on the similar lines of that. Okay. CPQ is one of the popular trend, and when you have a lot of product and a lot of combinations of discount and freebies and all of that, the product bundle and their pricing calculation is a complex, very complex deal. In fact, if you might be wondering how your telecom vendors are doing your pricing calculation and the pro rata calculations and all those complex deal based on whatever plan, whatever services you subscribe. So most of them use one or other CPQ tools. Instant Analytics, that's an analytical tool. You can have reports and dashboards created. You can define your own dashboard report, as well as there are plenty of out-of-the-box tools as well available, right? And then lastly, but not least, the industries cloud, which include like health cloud, manufacturing cloud, financial services cloud, and lot more. Okay, so this is just an example of list, but lot more industries are being launched here. In fact, insurance is also there, right? Yeah. So I think that's all what I wanted to cover here. So open for questions.
Thank you, sir. Any queries from participant side? You can text the queries in chat window also.
Hello, sir.
Yep. Hello.
Can this Salesforce can be have an application to academic section, but in institutes?
Salesforce as an academic subject, yes, we have done that for some of the colleges. I mean, there are optional subjects that are offered, okay, but not every colleges are offering today. But definitely, we have been supporting such requests from a long time. But that will be a separate conversation between college and Persistent as an organization, because it requires a different level of collaboration. But at some of the institution, we have already conducted this. So we trained some of the lecturers on Salesforce, so that they can have Salesforce as a subject for their one of the. I mean, I think it's a 4th semester or 5th semester. You can take that optional subject, right?
Okay. Okay, thank you, sir. Thanks for information. Thanks.
Right.
Sir, someone has asked the question in chat window.
Okay, let me check the chat. Okay, roadmap to learn Salesforce efficiently. Yeah, as I was talking about, you need to have. I mean, you can visit developer.salesforce.com and create a free instance that is called as developer edition org. And this developer edition org has both Sales Cloud as well as Service Cloud, and most of the features of Enterprise Edition, right? You can start trying out the things. Now, how to learn it? The best way is Trailhead. So if you visit trailhead.salesforce.com, there are a lot of learning modules. In fact, you will find a trail mix called as Getting Started. Okay. So there are different modules which will help you understand different aspects of Salesforce, but you will have to decide, where do I want to start with? My suggestion would be, first of all, look at the admin part. So there are a lot of certifications available in Salesforce ecosystem. I believe somewhere more than 30 certifications are available in Salesforce ecosystem. So one can start with the learning from the admin path, And then there is a certification called App Builder. Next to it is PD1, that is Platform Developer 1, right? Till the time you understand Platform Developer 1 certification related stuff, you will have enough knowledge to decide your own track. There are different tracks. There are consultant tracks, there are architect track, there are BA track, right? And there are admin tracks. So there are different tracks available within the Salesforce ecosystem, but at least first of all, try to start with the admin, app builder, and then PD1. So admin and app builder is something which is more about declarative, whereas PD1, you will start learning about the coding. Hope that
Yes,
answers
sir.
your question. Good question. Are these certifications free or any third-party certification do you recommend? So no, these certifications are not free. These are pretty expensive certifications, and those range somewhere between 10,000 to 15,000 rupees per certification. Whereas there are a lot of events that Salesforce keep on conducting, like Salesforce Days event or the certification days, those kind of initiative. You can find different discount vouchers, okay? Or if you if you attend certain webinar, many times Salesforce also give away the free vouchers for the entire certification. So you will have to keep your eyes open. Once you register on salesforce.com, you can subscribe to different notifications, and those notifications will keep you posted on regarding different certification offerings and possibilities to attend webinar and earn the free vouchers. Many times those vouchers are like 70% discount voucher, 50% discount voucher, or 10% discount voucher. And sometimes you get 100% discount voucher, that is free vouchers as well. But if you can't wait, you can go and anytime you can go to the webassessor.com and register yourself for certification. There is a proctored exam that happens. So which means you will need to sit in front of camera at a proctored center and in a monitoring mode. And that's where you have to clear the certification. Okay. There is due to pandemic, they also started allowing this using your own camera. You can do the setup at your home, and you can also appear for the exam from your own home instead of visiting the proctored center. But I usually recommend proctor center because of your internet connection and a lot of other challenges, power issues. If something goes wrong, it will be difficult to get the support. But if we go to the proctored center, actually that all those things are usually taken care of automatically.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Next question is, which role certification do you suggest for engineering student to get into entry-level Salesforce job in companies like Persistent? Yeah. And that's exactly I was referring to. So from the entry-level certification point of view, at least PD1 is something that you should have so that you can appear for the developer interview. Okay. Whereas the admin and advanced admin are the certifications which makes you the administrator, and that will allow you to apply for the other companies, like where companies who are consumer of Salesforce. So let's say if there is a XYZ bank which is using Salesforce, that bank will have certain administrator positions, maybe a couple of administrator positions in order to manage how to create user, how to give the access or revoke the access and so on from that maintenance point of view. So in those companies, the admin role will open up. But if you want to go for developer, there is a certification for PD1 and then PD2, that is a platform developer 2, which is an advanced coding related certification. So usually PD2 are more respected. After which, I don't expect you to have latter certifications from the architect track, but there are almost 9 certifications that are part of the architect track.
Yes,
Hope
sir.
that answers your question.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I thank Rahul Gade, sir, for such an informative session on Salesforce as platform as a service. Thank you, sir.
Okay, perfect.
I request Rahul Gade, sir, to accept virtual moment as a token of love and respect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rahul, sir.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Rahul, sir. Sorry, this is Sujata. I was a little late. Was tied up, should not join little early. Thanks for your time and helping us to run the BES with the help of persistent systems, sir. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Thanks. I will.
Thank you, Rahul.
I thank all the participants for joining BITES Expert Series. Thank you, Dr. Sujata, madam. Thank you, sir.